Another quick and easy filling that's really nutritious, and one that you can have all the ingredients ready at home, it's like a cupboard staple, is hummus. Again, you can use a variety of beans to make this. The classic is chickpeas, but I've made it with black beans, with cannellini beans. You're still getting the fibre and all the nutrients from the beans, and you're flavouring it up. So I'm going to drain a tin of chickpeas and give them a rinse. Now, if you've got a blender or a food processor, you can blitz the beans in that and it'll make a really smooth paste. You can also just mince them up with a fork, which is great and gives a very different texture, and actually one that's preferable. This hummus we're going to make is an oil-free version. In our society, we've got a problem with obesity, so we don't really need extra calories, and it doesn't add anything to the flavour of this. So we're going to squash the chickpeas against the side of the bowl or the side of a plate, or if you've got a processor, just whiz them up. We've got the chickpeas now all mashed up. And the good thing about legumes as well is that they fix nitrogen in the soil, so it's really important that we eat legumes as part of our plant-based diet. They're an amazing source of protein, an amazing source of fibre, and really are fundamental in a plant-based diet. But equally for the environment, they're using less land, less water, less resources, and fixing the nitrogen in the soils, which is perfect. I've got some unroasted, unhulled sesame paste, which is tahini, and you need a big dessert spoonful of that. This is a lovely flavour, and it's got a high fatty content as well, which is why there's no need for any extra oil. Take a garlic clove, chop both ends off, push your knife onto the garlic and remove the papery outer shell. Chop your garlic clove into slices. Remember to keep the knuckles against the knife so that you don't chop your fingers off. And then you can run the knife through the garlic to chop it into smaller pieces. The chickpeas I used were in unsalted water, and the tahini isn't salted. So I do put a bit of salt with the garlic here, probably about a quarter of a teaspoon, and then squash the garlic with the knife to make it into a paste. And that will come together in a paste. And add that to the bowl. You can use roasted garlic for this. That makes, if you roast a bulb of garlic, put it in the oven, and then it makes like a puree within the bulb, and then just squeeze the sweet garlic pulp out of each clove, and you can put that in as well. That's another alternative flavour with this. Your lemon, I'm going to zest the lemon. So take the nice zesty rind from the outside. Just keep twirling it round on the fine side of your box grater. And add that to your hummus mix. And squeeze the juice of the lemon. You can either squeeze it by hand, or you can put it over if you've got a juicer, a lemon squeezer. Sometimes these give you a more efficient result. This is a particularly pippy lemon, so I'll give it a good squeeze over this. And just make sure I got everything out of this one. Just a little pip went in there. And then give that a good stir. So if you were doing this in a food processor, you would just add all this stuff into the processor and whiz it up. This can be quite easy and quick in a processor. You can also take your time methodically squashing the chickpeas. You can also skin the chickpeas for a smoother hummus, but that does really take a lot of patience. So you want this to be a consistency as a dip, then you can thin it down. This will hold well on a sandwich. So I'm going to add a little bit of warm water just to thin that down a little bit. And then you've got a hummus dip. I like to put paprika with this, but you can also use cumin. And I'm going to show you what happens to that when you put it in the food processor. But I've got a classic sort of smoothie maker, but that will work as well. A handheld blender would work. So if you wanted it rough, a rough cut, rough type of hummus, there you have it. That's still got a lot of texture. Flavors are really good. But we're going to tip this into there and give it a blend. Add a little bit more hot water because you don't really want it to stick in your blender. And then just pulse that a few times. So once it's been in the blender, so you've got your option of having it quite rough hummus that you've made yourself. This is still thick, nice consistency, good for a dip, but a little bit more. You can use this as a dip for vegetables, for raw vegetables. Sprinkle a little bit of paprika on the top. And there's a quick and simple hummus. So I've got a flatbread there that I'm going to toast, and you can just break off. Similarly, you could have carrot sticks, cauliflower, broccoli, any of these lovely vegetables. It's a perfect dip for. So let's just try it with a little bit of the bread. No.